In this video, I'm going to talk about making accounts inactive in QuickBooks Online. I'm in the QuickBooks sample company in the chart of accounts, and you can see all of the accounts here. There's a few pages of accounts. And if I want to see any inactive accounts that I've maybe already made inactive, I can click on Include Inactive, and it shows me any deleted accounts. So what I'm going to do is walk through a few scenarios of making accounts inactive. The first account that I'm going to make inactive is this equipment rental expense account. If I go to the right side of the screen, all I have to do is click on this little drop down arrow and click on Make Inactive. And then it gives me this pop-up and I just simply say yes, make inactive. And that's it. Now, if I were to run a profit and loss, if that account had been used, it's still going to show on the report, but it's simply going to show it as deleted. So if I run this profit and loss, you can see where it says equipment rental and the amount is still there, but it does show that that account was deleted. Now I can make the account active again by simply showing inactive accounts in the chart of accounts, finding that account, and here it is right here, and I can click on Make Active. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Now you will get an error sometimes if the account is related to any sort of recurring transaction. So I'm going to show you an example of that. I'm going to attempt to make this utilities telephone expense inactive. If I click on the drop-down arrow and click Make Inactive, yes, make inactive, it will not let me deactivate this account because it says they have a non-zero balance. They're one of the default accounts in your chart of accounts, which means it was created by QuickBooks originally, and there are certain accounts that QuickBooks will not let you make inactive, or they're in an automated workflow. So this little pop-up message says that there's a recurring template or scheduled liability payment related to this account. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to the recurring transactions. And you can see this telephone bill, which is probably the culprit. I'm going to click on it. And you can see that it uses the telephone account that I was just trying to make inactive. In order to make the account inactive, I would have to remove it from this recurring template. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chart of accounts. Now I want to look at making a bank account inactive. If for some reason you close a bank account, more than likely you zeroed out that account, took all the money out, and closed out the account. Ideally, you would want to make entries for that in the account, in the chart of accounts, so that you could get the balance to zero. So you would want to record anything that you did to make that account zero. Maybe you transferred the money to another bank account. Maybe you pulled it out as an owner draw, or whatever the situation is. You would want to ideally get this account to zero before closing it in QuickBooks Online. However, I'm going to show you that you can make this account inactive even if you don't close the balance to zero. And you can see that this account is also connected to the bank connection. So let me show you what happens if I try to make this account inactive. I'm going to click on the drop-down arrow, make inactive. And that's it. You can see that that account was made inactive. It's showing here because I have it showing inactive accounts. If I click on this, it makes it disappear. The question is, though, what happened to that balance? If you go to Opening Balance Equity and view the register, you can see that there's an entry here for that savings account that was deleted. So I'm going to click on that. As you can see, QuickBooks automatically closed that balance in the savings account. to opening balance equity. I'm going to go back to the chart of accounts. At any point, if I want to make that account active again, I would show the inactive accounts, and then that will allow me to view it. And then I would just click on Make Active, and it makes the account active again. I'm going to view the register. You can see that this account is still showing this opening balance equity transaction because when I made the account active again, it did not change that. So if I didn't want this transaction here, I would have to simply delete it. Now, if I go back to the bank transactions, you can see that the savings account is no longer showing because when I made that account inactive, it disconnected the connection. So I would have to link that account again. I'm going to go back to the chart of accounts and show you that if you click on this drop-down arrow, it also gives you an option right here to connect the bank again. And that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and thank you for watching.